Not very well, I don't think, because he tried to sack me last series when I just told him I was going to ask out his love interest. So I don't think I'd rate him too highly, really. I think as time goes on, I think Gerard's starting to see Mark in his true colours, really.
Yeah.
He's not a particularly nice guy, Mark. Really, when it comes down to it, he can get a bit.
That's what Jeff thinks.
Well, Mark, I'd say probably.
I'd say Mark. I'd say
maybe
Mark's the most tragic. I just in the sense that his balance of his character is whenever something's going right for him, it goes wrong. But he's the archetype of his own downfall all the time.
Jez is the same, I suppose. Jez is quite a tragic character as well. You know, he's never got any money. He's unlucky in love.
But he laps that up, doesn't he?
But he also hasn't got any. You know, Mark's. Yeah, I suppose he does. He doesn't really care, does he? I suppose.
Jeremy just lives his life the way. I suppose a lot of people would want to do it. He doesn't really have any cares.
Rides the wave.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any cares. Whereas Mark is constantly, his character, you can tell, is constantly fretting about something, and there's image thing, and so there is a tragedy there. But the beauty of his tragedy is that it's usually caused by him. It's you know, so I think he's the most tragic. He doesn't hate him. He just thinks he's a tool. He just thinks he's a bit of a plonker. So you know, they're from completely different sides of the world, aren't they? So, and the only the thing that keeps them together really in the same space is Sophie. And the dynamic's sort of back in this series again a little bit more now, where Jeff is his nemesis a little bit. I think Jeff's a good person if he gets on with someone. I mean,
doesn't suffer fools, does he really?
No, and we've just been discussing this. Mark's character, David plays it so well, and it's so well written that actually he's sort of the hero of the piece, along with Jeremy, of course. But he's actually not a particularly nice bloke. He's power mad. He rules Gerard, doesn't he? He only really likes if he can control it. And with Jeff, he's never been able to do that. So Jeff just winds him up. Just likes to wind him up. That's his game. Just wind him up every time.
For me, it'd probably be you.
Mine would be Super Hands.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, probably Super Hands or Jeremy's role. I think. I mean, for just the madness of them, he's like a sort of a puppy best mate who will do anything for you,
or to you.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It's like wearing a pair of glasses when you don't really wear glasses, I suppose. It's kind of, you go home and you think it's still there, you know, you can sort of feel it in your sleep.
The problem with the tube is that he's the least of the problems, but we can see it. He can't see it.
Yeah.
So he can't see him walking around with a tube.
And this year, because last series it was kind of it was like it looked like an iPod lead, whereas this year it's kind of clear and quite thick, and you can kind of see all the condensation on it.
Yeah, we swapped it first day. There's a lot of comedians on the set.
Yeah, Matt. We did this scene. We had this episode a couple of weeks ago where we were filming a party scene, which was actually quite long and drawn out because we basically had to be in the background the whole time. And there was myself and you and Matt Superhands, and he.
The lasagna had gone off 3 days before and was still wafting around the room.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant, but you know he had this. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but he had a snake. He brings like a snake to a party. Probably not allowed to say that. So he brings an animal to a party, and
brings a bleep.
I fell asleep after lunch because it was quite a long day, and I was awoken by this animal's tongue licking my face. Yeah.
Patson Joseph, who plays Johnson, who's again one of my favourite characters. Johnson is just.
Oh yeah, of course.
And we haven't done anything with Patterson, but I know. When we start doing stuff with a bit of Patterson, we're going to be laughing all day because we just crack each other up, all of us. We had a scene in the last series where he had to say the word Frankfurt, and when we were doing the take, he said Frankfurt, and he just did it so funny that we couldn't do it for about an hour. Every time he went Frankfurt, we just all went to pieces. Dentistry? Would you do dentistry?
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a go. I mean, you know.
Ivory hunting.
Ivory hunting.
I don't know. I've never known personally myself. I can't speak for Jim, but I've never really. I've been doing this a long time now. I love this job. It's a passion. So this or stand up. I do stand up still. And
well, I wanted to be a pilot actually. I wanted to be in the Air Force. I was just always interested in planes when I was a kid. So, but you know, wasn't good enough at maths. Didn't have good enough eyesight, and was a little bit too overnourished